Hi guys, Dan from On Track Detailing. As you can see, we've got this lovely tanzanite blue BMW M4 in. It's having our own front end PPF kit. So that will be bonnet, wings, bumper, headlights, mirrors and A-pillars. I think we're also going to replace the OEM pieces. As you can see, they're a bit thicker than our current newer films, our suntek reaction, and slightly worn and tarnished, even though it's only a couple of years old. Yeah, we're going to polish the rest of it, ceramic coat it, wheels will be taken off, cleaned thoroughly, and yeah, get it looking good. As you can see, she is pretty swirly. Some very deep scratches, along with the usual selection of wash marring and lighter swirls and bits and pieces. Wheels are pretty dirty, let's be honest. No one's favourite wheels to clean. Comp wheels look lovely, absolute pain to look after. But other than that, it is a beautiful colour. So yeah, once the front end is protected and the rest of it's looking as good as it can, bring that depth and that real strong metallic back out in this colour. And she should be looking lovely. Obviously the carbon roof as well is a sort of centerpiece of these cars. This is our sort of regular wash setup, if you will. Obviously we've got our own spotless water, which we filter in-house, tanks on the other side of that wall. We've got our wheels bucket here, rinse bucket and wash bucket. Obviously they all have the 0 ppm water in to avoid any watermarking, staining. Also makes the product a bit more efficient, a bit more sudsy, and will work better. Got our wheel cleaner, our pH neutral all-purpose cleaner, and our snow foam there. So yeah, I mean, pretty much the usual sort of setup for most things. Make sure that everything is as clean as possible, but whilst using the sort of best products we can to avoid any sort of damaging, staining, marking of any more delicate areas, such as the gloss black trims around the windows or the diamond cut wheels, etc.
Okay, onto the engine bay now, and you can see there's quite a lot of dust and dirt, and the drain channels are also blocked with leaves, so we're going to get them unblocked, and then we're going to apply a snow foam solution to the engine to get a nice deep clean. You are okay to use water and chemicals and liquids on an engine bay, especially of most modern cars. We've never had a problem. I'm just going to go around the edges now with a detail brush and get everything nice and clean. I would really recommend getting one of these little finger mitts, and they're not very expensive at all. Okay, cool. So the M4 is all prepped and ready for polishing now. It's not going to get polished in here. It's going to get polished out in our workshop. It's just in here for the moment. For space, what we need to do first, though, is tackle all of these stone chips. This car is only about 45,000 miles, but it's clearly had a lot of motorway time, a lot of stone chips all over the paint, here and here. We do have a colour match touch up for that, so we'll get that all applied, get it all touched up nicely, and then we'll sand anything back that we need to, polish the whole bonnet, and then yeah, we'll get on to putting the paint protection film on. Okay guys, so we've done all the touch-ups on the front end, and you might be looking at this thinking, what the hell have you guys done to that? And that's a fair question. So when you touch up, you want to get it as level as possible. So we'll apply the touch up and then sand it back so it's flush with the paint. Then we'll go over with a polisher and get all these sanding marks out, and it will look a lot better. And then it'll be ready to get the film put on. Okay guys, we're on the back of the M4. We're going to start on the trunk here, or the boot. Normally we'd start on the front end, but Dan's just putting some more touch up in place. You can see the swirls are pretty bad. It's one of those colours that does show the damage quite easily. So we'll get on to the polishing process now, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, so one of the other processes, what we do is get all this horrible dust out of the pad, make sure that the pad is good to cut again. This is a microfiber cutting pad, so it can be quite dusty. We'd normally use compressed air for this, but just for the purposes of showing you. Get rid of any excess dust that might have come back onto the paint. And we'll just get going with the polishing. So one of the differences that we do is obviously we do a single stage polish and a multi-stage polish. This particular car is getting a multi-stage polish, which basically means we get the paint as good as we reasonably can do without going into things like wet sanding over as many stages as it takes basically. So we've done a single stage polish. You can see the overall gloss is way better, but some deeper marks like this straight line scratch here, and there are some more down here that you can't quite see with the light angle, are still present. So we're gonna just again IPA wipe it down, or use our Car Pro eraser, which is similar to IPA. Get rid of any of the remainder of the polishing oils, and then we'll just hit it again, same pad, same technique, and it'll just take out the majority of the remainder of the marks and get it looking really good. So I'll get on with that now. Alright, just give it its final eraser wipe down. Have a look at the finished product. Cool, so it's obviously looking much better than it was after the first pass. There's this little mark here which is quite deep, to be fair. It's sort of been rounded off, so it's not as visible as it would normally be. Sometimes detailing is about knowing when to stop, because you can risk burning through the paint or removing a lot of the UV protection by taking a lot of the clear coat off, which is what you're doing when you're polishing, you're removing the clear coat. So sometimes you just need to know when not to continue on. I think I'm quite happy with that for now. I might revisit it later on as we go around the rest of the car. The M4 is all done now, or certainly the boot is. It's been cut over 2 stages. It has not been refined yet, so this is the sort of raw finish that you would get after the corrective polishing. So you'll notice that there's not really any hologramming or marring to speak of. We make sure that we finish it down nicely and leave as little be improved as possible. So we will be going over this later on with a softer pad and a sort of a jeweler's polish almost, just to get that gloss level really good. But yeah, you can see the difference is night and day from how it was before. So we'll carry on with the rest of the car. Okay, we've moved on to the carbon roof, which is, as Dan mentioned, a really nice centerpiece of these cars. You can see from the lights that there are quite a few swells and marks. Not quite as bad as the boot was, but still could be improved. We've taped up the black trims here and the shark fin. They're sort of gloss black, so we don't want to catch them with the edge of the polisher. We will be going around later on with a 1-inch machine polisher to go over those areas separately, but just for now we're just going to focus on the roof. So yeah, I'll start on that and you can see the process. Cool, so we've done a couple of passes on the roof and as you can see it's looking a lot better. There are still a few minor marks, most of which will come out with the refinement process. At the minute we've just obviously been cutting the paint. You want to be mindful of the carbon. It is just a normal lacquer on the top, it's not a fancy lacquer or anything, so you can treat it just like a traditional painted panel, but obviously the stakes are much higher if anything does go wrong. So I mean, you can see the difference from the light here to here where we've done the polishing. So yeah, I mean, you can see the paint is very heavily swelled with a lot of markings and buffer trails. So we're going to be working hard to get those all removed and looking as good as we can.
So we're going to remove the old OEM spats. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker than the newer age PPF, a little bit more orange, peely and ugly, and it's taken some damage, which is what it's meant to do. But since we're doing the front end anyway, we'll replace this. A little bit of heat helps soften the glue and make it easy to remove, hopefully with less residue. But I've probably jinxed it now. We will try.
That's a lot of glue being left.
Oh, do I jinxed it? Unfortunate. Yes, so pulling down at an angle close to the paintwork is important, rather than out like that where you're putting a lot of force on the lacquer. You want to pull down and in like that. Try and pull it off the glue and off the film.
Oof.
So as you can see, I did jinx it. I left quite a lot of glue. So we'll be getting the trusty TARDIS out on that. Remove all of that before we polish the rest of it. And she'll be ready for some fresh new film tomorrow afternoon.
You can see where the film was. The paint is slightly less damaged, but there are still some marks. And this is the old film, which is horrible and yellowed and thick, and it just doesn't look very appealing either off the car or on the car. That can go. on the floor. Well, we've got our polisher and our pad and whatnot, so we're going to get started now. If I had power. Take 2. Cool, so you can see that looks way better, a lot less swirls. There's a few very, very small marks still. Probably give it another hit just to make sure we get it absolutely perfect. But yeah, I'm sure you'll agree that's a much improvement. Yeah, I'm sure you'll agree it's much improved. Right, so yeah, the passenger side wings all done. Just needs refining, as I said. We just compare it to the door, which we haven't polished yet. Wow. Just here, compare it to this. Just a quick 50-50 on the door. That's just after a single stage of polishing. So I think we might just go over it again one more time and carry on with the rest of the door. So this side on the left is obviously the side that hasn't been polished. And this side on the right is the side that has had some correction work done. We've taken the car outside now to remove all of the dust that's been created from the polishing process. We're just giving everything a good rinse down, which is a lot easier than trying to remove the dust from inside. We're going to focus as well on cleaning around the grills and vents, etc. Just for when we're applying the paint protection film, we don't want to have any contamination come down at all. So yeah, we're just going to give the car basically a very careful, gentle wash and then get it back inside. So we've been playing around in core. We've got the M4 pattern all loaded up. So we've made sure that everything fits perfectly. There's some options obviously which we've made sure have been done. So we've got wrapped wings and made sure that we have the correct parking sensor slots. So we're just going to get this printed now. And this is just a little geeky behind the scenes look at the plotter in action. You can see where I'm pointing to. That's the front bumper and you can see the kidney grills. We've cut the first part of the film out, which is a bulk fit, so we're doing the bonnet of this first. Dan is just getting himself ready, as you can see, making sure we don't get any dust or contamination in the film. And yeah, when it's down, it will be very protected. This is a suntek reaction film that we're using, which is Suntek's lead-in film. It has a 12-year warranty, things like yellowing, discoloration, adhesive failure, etc. Got an amazing self-healing top coat which protects from scratches, wash marks, etc. So you can heal them with either just leaving the car in the sun or some hot water or a heat gun, and that's probably the best top coat that's on the market at the moment. We've tested it against a few others, and in every case the suntek film has really come top of the charts. So we're just putting the rear spats on. So you can see Dan's got the cut out already. Making sure that it's lined up nicely, covering the full extent of the rear arch. There you go. Quick and easy on these ones, and it's obviously way better than the original film, which was all yellowed and horrible and didn't have any self-healing capabilities, whereas this film has the full self-healing top coat. Now that all of the film has been applied, we're just going to go around the whole car and give it a gentle refining polish just to remove any traces of hazing or anything from the corrective steps previously. Okay guys, the M4 has all been refined. It's all looking as good as we can get it. It's now going to get a single layer of gyeon mauve, which is a 2 to 3 year ceramic coating, which will give the paint a nice gloss and a hydrophobic effect, help keep it easier to clean. And yeah, we'll take you in the process of applying it. You can see the slight darkening effect as the product's getting applied. It's spreading it evenly and nicely across the whole panel and all the areas. Based on the ambient conditions, the temperature and humidity, etc. Depends on how much you can apply and what sort of area. So because it's reasonably cool in here, around 12 degrees, we can get away with doing about half of the roof, or half of this side of the roof anyway. And then it gets pretty much immediately buffed off with a very soft microfiber towel. film is all on and keeping everything protected. So we've done headlights, front bumper, bonnet, wings, wing mirrors and A-pillars. We've also put a trunk deck lid on the rear bumper to protect from loading and unloading. Didn't have to do too much on this one as it was already pretty clean, so just gave the seats and the carpets a nice wipe down and a scrub. Carbon roof is looking absolutely beautiful. And those beautiful competition wheels, which everybody hates cleaning, are looking as good as new. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Obviously give us any feedback in the comments. This M4 is now ready to go back to its lucky owner. As an M4 owner myself, I do expect the best when it comes to my paint protection and the polishing, etc. I do offer a fantastic deal for owners of these cars through the owners pages. So you can get in touch with me at info@ontrackdetailing.co.uk. If you've got any questions at all or just want some advice, you don't necessarily have to be purchasing from us. Happy to give people advice. Get in touch, or you can reach us on our Facebook and Instagram pages, which are both On Track Detailing. And yeah, hope to see you on the next episode.